$1,000 diamond tennis bracelet for just $133 a month. Or check out a special collection of affordable and timeless classics like diamond studs, old-fashioned and diamond jewelry. Instant savings of 20%. For just 130 specials, even marked down to 40%. Don't let anything keep you from getting that headliner gift this year. International Diamonds, the price relief and the interest rate relief you deserve. Merry Christmas from International Diamond Center, US 1 and PSL Boulevard in Port St. Lucie.
What you've heard about probiotics is probably wrong.
I eat yogurt. Oh, I don't need to take a probiotic.
Probiotics? They don't really work.
It's time to learn the truth about probiotics from Align, the probiotic brand recommended by gastroenterologists 2 times more than any other probiotic brand. Align has probiotics to naturally help relieve occasional bloating, gas, and abdominal discomfort. Try Align for a month and see how great a healthy urologist 2 times more than any other probiotic brand. Align has probiotics to naturally help relieve
MSRP. We're absorbing the costs, passing along the savings to you, so you don't have to compromise on personal security. Visit smithandwesson.com to find a Shield Plus near you. Smith & Wesson. Always expect the best.
To run a small business, you need the most from every investment. But Comcast Business gives you more. Like more innovation with our new gig speed Wi-Fi, plus unlimited data. More speed from the largest, fastest, reliable network for small businesses. And more savings, up to 60% a year with Comcast Business Mobile. All from the company that powers more businesses than any other provider. When you need more, you need Comcast Business. Powering possibilities.
Get started with internet and advanced security for just $40 per month for 12 months with no annual contract when you add mobile. Plus, ask how to get a $750 prepaid card with a qualifying gig bundle. Ends 1/1/2023. Restrictions apply. Actual speeds vary. Fair pricing of top carrier. Requires EcoBill and AutoPay. Comcast Business Internet required. New Comcast Business 100 megabits per second internet and security edge customers only. Equipment taxes and other fees extra and subject to change. Must add mobile within 90 days of internet install and keep services for 12 months for discount. Results vary. Not an endorsement.
Here's traffic on Real Radio.
Slowdowns include Palmetto Park Road at I-95. An earlier crash, still seeing slowdowns. Prosperity Farms Road south of PGA Boulevard. Plus, we're slow northbound 95 at Glades and Lakeworth Road west of the I-95 overpass. Aside from that, watch out for one more. 95 northbound at the ramp from Hypoluxo. We do have a crash here. Slowdowns 95 south at 40 west. Let's check the traffic.
This report is sponsored by Verdict with Ted Cruz podcast.
This is Ben Ferguson. This is Ted Cruz. Together we do our podcast, Verdict with Ted, 3 times a week. Want to know what's going on behind closed doors in the Senate, the White House, the courts?
You do. Download Verdict with Ted Cruz on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcast.
This is Real Radio 92.1 and 101.7. Real talk for the Palm Beaches and the Treasure Coast. Looking up today's lead stories. This is the news junkie, Sean Wasson.
Dispatches. In just a moment, you can send those to the News Junkie app. Search for the News Junkie in your app store. Now, when you were young, well, hell, I mean, I guess you through now, Sabrina. Do you ever have a moment where you did some kind of surgery on yourself, kind of like procedure that you go like, this should probably be done at a doctor's office or a hospital, but I got this?
I didn't, but I remember my little sister when she was in preschool. Left a bean in her ear.
Oh, it's not good.
And after weeks of going to the doctor, ear specialist, I mean, it was the next day set up for her to be put under and it certainly taken out. But my parents said, we'll do one more shot at it. And essentially, all 4 kids got involved as we held down my sister and they went at it and they pulled the bean out.
So they were successful, thereby saving money, having to go to the emergency room or the doctor.
100%. There was a high risk that they were going to push it down further and create a problem, possibly making her deaf in her ear forever.
God forbid. She could still have the beat in her ear to this very day if that would have gone wrong. So thankfully it did not.
They just had to flick it out.
The thing that one time, or my dad made me do, was I got stitches in my leg, the side of my right leg. It did not. They just stitched me all up, and the doctor said, come back on this date, and then I'll take the stitches out. My dad goes, it's gonna be like $500 to get this. So I got this, and my dad wanted to like cut this out my leg to save money from going back to the doctor's office. But for the most part, I avoid doing any surgery on myself.
I tried to perform a procedure on myself over the weekend.
Now, did Mama Lane say, "See, Lane, what the hell are you doing here?" Or
She's not involved.
This was over the weekend.
oh, this was just you unsupervised, all on your own, surgery this weekend.
My girlfriend, it wasn't a surgery, it was a procedure.
Procedure surgery.
Something that I
Yet to be determined.
For surgery.
gone to the clinic for previous times.
Yeah.
I was having some trouble, so I went to go drops.
Yeah.
And of the clinic for like the wax removal for
Oh,
your ear.
really? Where they go in?
Having some trouble.
Get in there.
Yeah, so they have the little rubber bulb that used to like squeeze water in your ear, try and lodge all the grossness. I was unsuccessful.
Oh, it didn't work?
But man, my wax, but it builds.
Builds, huh?
It really does, and I can't stop thinking about the picture.
Yeah, you do show those pictures, and I'm not sure that people should be seeing them.
Why not?
I mean, it's just, there's some chunky stuff in there.
I can't stop thinking.
There was like, this was not as bad as the last time. When you got
No,
the-
I think
It wasn't?
Yeah.
I think they were. I don't remember. I think you deleted the tweet in the last one.
Oh, yeah. I deleted all of it.
Why?
I don't want a whole trail of tweets going. You see what happens to people with old tweets now?
I don't remember. Like later in life, they're gonna come back and go, "You guys see how Sean Lawson posted earwax
There's
things?"
just no need for it. I don't want all that information out there about me. I'm trimming back.
They're gonna find the pic and go, "Leave the tweet."
I could still. I get the photograph. If you
Archiver.
want to compare that to your newer one. Recent
Let's do it. We'll put it on CNN later.
All right,
I'll see it later.
I'll grab that. This is about a woman named Anya Rossington, and she is 49 years old. And she decided, yeah, sure, I could go to a doctor. A professional could take care of this, or I could do this myself. After all, I've been on this earth for almost 50 years, and I've learned some things. You see, way back when she had beat up breasts, she said after breastfeeding children, that she wanted to get those suckers pumped up a little bit, increased them to an F cup. And after a while, she said, I don't necessarily want these breast implants anymore. Went to inquire about what it cost to remove them. Found out it was about $5,000 to get the implants removed. So she did what anybody would do, what nobody should do, and removed the breast implants herself
no.
at home. She said the implants were causing her depression and anxiety, and she just couldn't deal with it anymore. Something called a decorator's blade. And her husband was at work, and so she said, twice didn't do it. To find the photo of the implant she actually removed from herself,
She's only holding one of them because one of them ruptured.
oh,
while she was
great,
doing it.
great.
That's extremely dangerous.
Yeah, that's not good for you to do. You can see the photo of what he did on the See It Now section of the News Junkie ad. Kind of a badass on the other end. He said, the NHS is now healthcare service is under such huge strain as it is, and I didn't want to add to that for my small issue. I have a pretty strong stomach, and I knew I could just out myself. Describing the moment she cut them out, I was still trying to talk myself out of it. I didn't want to be crazy or not think straight. Anyway, it got to tea time, and I got some ice cubes out of the freezer, put them in a plastic sandwich bag, tied it up like an ice bag. I went upstairs, I got the mirror in front, sat there for a while, and thought I'd just cut a little bit to see if it hurt. I put the ice underneath where the original scar is, lifted my boob up, put the ice there for 5 minutes, I couldn't bear it any longer, and sliced the plants out. Said I didn't even feel much. I'd still suggest going to a professional.
Yeah, and I mean, there could be so many complications. And she's lucky she didn't die from it rupturing.
Yeah, and then
Blood loss, and they need to monitor your what is it? BPH?
well,
BPM?
whatever it is, gotta
BP.
If she's slicing herself open to get these out, okay, you got them out. Now you need to be put back together. So unless you're going to sew everything up yourself, just don't do this stuff. Let's talk to Brian. Go ahead, Brian.
How you doing today, Junkie?
Good, go ahead.
So yeah, when I was about 10 years old, we had a family function going on at the house, playing in the backyard. I kicked a soccer ball into my neighbor's yard and decided to climb the fence. It was a wooden privacy fence.
Yeah.
But I was on the side that didn't have flat to give you any traction, which I'd done before, but I'd always had shoes on. This time I decided to climb it, and when I did, my foot slid, and I had a splinter pretty much the length of my entire foot.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
So my
buddy, I
dad-
just...
How big around a are we talking here?
Maybe a quarter inch, half inch.
Oh, okay. So like a wooden knife through your foot.
Pretty much. Since my granddad and my uncles were all at the house, they decided it would be a good idea to maybe all hold me down. My dad put the face on the bottom of my foot, grabbed a razor blade, cut down it, pulled it out, and then used super glue to put it all back together.
Wait, how old were you again?
10 years old.
10 years old. You probably look back on this as a bit of a traumatic experience.
Yeah, just a little bit. I remember holding my uncle's hand, squeezing it, and I squeezed so hard I actually bent his wedding ring a little bit.
Because that's the price he's going to pay. Not taking you to the doctor's office. When you get something like this done, and the other one I had was my dad wanted to stitch everything. I had a gruesome one time. I was in the front yard with my cousin, and he was on my bike, and my chain falling off my bike. You know, the falls off the gear once in a while, and I'm trying to put it on. As I'm trying to put it back on, my cousin starts pedaling my bike. So my finger goes under the and around the gear, and it's like stuck on there, and this thing's like going through my finger. Big old gash in my finger. And my dad was like, let's get the ball fishing line, start sewing stuff up, get back together. You know,
No, thank you.
break the bank a little bit. Let's get some professionals in on there. Let's talk to Jonathan. Go ahead, Jonathan.
Hey, how you doing, Junkie? Hey, so I'm a nurse in Philadelphia, and I'm an avid fisherman. I was throwing a big old saltwater lure one day. Got a huge treble hook stuck in that little skin between your thumb and your forefinger.
Oh, gosh.
But nurses, we can go home all the time with supplies in our pocket. You know, it doesn't matter what it is, but we had a treble hook stuck in the fridge. I had a bottle of lidocaine and an unused scalpel. So she laid me down on the bed and went to work, numbed it up, used the scalpel, opened me up, pulled the hook right out, didn't feel it, closed me up with a bandage.
All right, it makes me, though, when she's got some medical expertise. When your mother whose job is lunch lady, baby, and then she's trying to do the same thing, that's when I get worried about this. Your girlfriend sounds like she knows what she's teased.
Yeah, I wouldn't use a steak knife to do that.
No. Whenever just the lunch lady, raised baby, and then she's trying to do the same thing, that's when I get worried about this. Your girlfriend a little bit, she knows what she's teased. That's one with the family tie-in. My uncle went fishing with his son one time, and they had those treble hooks on. That's just like a hook that goes down on your fishing line, but there's 3 of them. Oh, yeah. So it's 3 hooks. And if you throw it at something, you could just snag whatever you're going for. It's fixed everything.
Sort of like grappling.
Yeah, it's like a little miniature grappling hook, very sharp. And my uncle goes out with his son, and brings the fish line back with the treble hooks, goes forward to cast as hard as he could, and hooked right on my uncle's eyelid. My uncle goes out with his pull forward. I don't think he went to the doctor's office for that one either. We really should have gone to the doctor's office many more times than we did in my family. Let's talk to Alan. Go ahead, Alan.
Hey, what's up, you junkie?
Go ahead.
So, last week, my daughter was sitting on the floor in front of me, and she just all of a sudden stood up and started saying her elbow hurt. And I was like, what's the matter? And she's like, she was holding it in like a chicken wing position, and she wouldn't move it at all. And my mother-in-law came in and told me that my wife had actually dislocated her elbow before. So when they took her to the hospital, they couldn't figure out what it was.
Yeah.
And they finally did some x-rays and found out that she had dislocated it, and the guy set it back in position pretty easily. You just pull it down forward and like twist it back a little bit, and then, you know, and it's back in. Finally, my wife told her, I was like, don't worry, babe, I can do it, no big deal. We tried it about 3 or 4 times, and finally I got it, and she was perfectly fine after that. But for the whole time before, she was hysterically. It was pretty great.
Now, on that 3rd time, did you think at some point here, Maybe she like broke her arm and I'm really doing more damage to it.
Actually, I looked it up and they said just like squeeze all around and touch the bones. It doesn't hurt, but I really did feel horrible at one point. I was like, maybe we should just go to the emergency room, and then I remembered $500.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, that's a sad state of healthcare of this company or this country. When we go, $500. I think maybe we'll just try to fix this at home first. And fix it at home first is cool for a laptop or a piece of machinery you might have, or you want to bring an expert. But for your body, not such a great thing. At a Publix, where did this happen? I'm trying to figure out where this occurred.
Florida. I bet it's Florida.
No, it's not. It usually is Florida. Tanya Rossing, I'm sorry, she was, there it is. It was in Midlothian, Virginia, it says in this story. And Liberty Gratz, it usually is Florida. She was working at a Publix there, and she was attacked by a customer. A customer just comes up and starts attacking this Liberty Gratz. And the interesting thing is why the customer started attacking her. Punching her, pushing her, hitting her from behind. Attacking her from behind. And the reason why was because the customer said, I'm being absolutely ignored here, and to the point where I feel like this is so offensive, I'm going to start a fight over it. The Publix employee, however, is a deaf. And they didn't know the lady behind them causing this big, gigantic fight over it. And finally, they realized afterwards, oh God, this poor girl, this younger girl, Liberty Gratz, not only deaf, but also has some serious vision loss. And her mom here with her talking about what happened.
Well, if you were working, someone just came up behind you and decided to punch.
Matt Grant says that's exactly
Not
what
good.
happened.